The following content is for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
You are now listening to NoFreeDrinks, the not your ordinary dating, relationships, and sex advice podcast.
Join me, Wesley, your Keeps It Real co-host. We were going out, I would say steady for like 6 to 8 months. We just abruptly stopped having sex. So why are we not getting freaky? Like, what the fuck's going on? So she's like, no, because I've renewed my faith in God. I know how I am. Like, I'm not going to get no cheeks. I'm going to cheat on you. Brock, your Knows-It-All co-host.
And then my go-to hookup one has always and will forever be Tinder. It's just like in the bathroom, like, cool, I got these 5-10 minutes. Like, just thumb game strong. Like,
and Lena D, your No-Chill co-host.
Oh, so do you go down on women? And there were a few men that said, no, like, I don't believe in that. And then I was like, oh, well, I don't believe in fucking you, so we should probably end this.
Shit. God. That's harsh as fuck.
I mean, it's harsh as fuck to say you're not going to eat my pussy out.
Join us every Wednesday for
all type of societal norms being turned upside down.
Welcome back to No Free Drinks. This is Lena D, and I'm here with the NFD crew.
Hey, it's Wesley.
Hey, guys, it's Brock.
And we actually have a really fun episode planned for you today. Not as fun as the last two we've been bringing you, but I think it's still something that's very important. And if you've been listening to us, you've already listened to the Juice Box monologues, which was our 2-part series about the vulva or the vagina or the clitoris, all the great parts of the vagina, the vulva. And the reason why we started doing this series is because we ended up learning that September is Sex Health Month and that there actually is a World Sex Health Day that is observed on the 4th, but that the entire month is open for celebrations of sex health. So we were going to tell you a little bit about how we found out about this celebration because we actually really weren't that aware of it. We'd known that there's practicing safe sex, and we know that there's people that usually do specific celebrations either around anal sex or different things. And for the most part, we wanted to talk about in general what this is. So it's actually kind of promoted by the American Sexual Health Association, which was founded back in 1914 in New York City. So it's been around for a long time. And what they actually do is that they focus on how people can have safer sex and how can we make sure that people are armed with the right information so that they can be prepared to fight off sexually transmitted infections. How can they have safe sex? And they obviously promote safe sex. But they also talk about the importance of sex in general and how to really think about it in tying back to your day-to-day life. So it's not just this taboo thing around sex, or it's not just sex for pleasure, but they actually think about just sex being a part of your day-to-day life, which is what really sex should be. But unfortunately, not all people think about sex in that way because obviously our society is still very much tabooed about it or tied back to the fact that, oh, well, this isn't something that we should be talking about, or this isn't an appropriate topic to have a conversation. So we thought that that was really interesting because they obviously care about promoting safe sex and obviously care about sex being a part of your life. And for this year, they actually have a theme for how they're celebrating Sex Health Month, and it's all about love, bonding, and intimacy.
Aww.
This already sounds like a mushy ass episode.
Sound like a Disney movie.
Which for some people it can be, especially if you're just, looking to fuck or DTF, and that's all it's going to be. But it's still very important because sometimes as we talk about having sex and as we talked about, obviously, all the different parts of the vulva, and sneak peek to all our listeners, we'll actually be doing a special all about the penis.
Oh, man, we're not dickologists. Like, what?
Penis love.
Penis love, of course. I think that's kind of like one of the areas that women are I think, a little bit more aware than the men are going into sex. But even then, I think there's a ton of questions.
Debatable.
Really?
Highly debatable.
Really?
Debatable.
Well, we're going to talk about that when we get to it.
I don't know. You didn't know what a mushroom stamp was.
We're going to talk about that when we get to it, but just a sneak peek to our audience. So as we're spending, obviously, a significant amount of time talking about our anatomy and our pleasure centers, we didn't want to forget the most important part, which is, how do you have sex in a safe way? How do you think about your own health, your own sexual health, as well as kind of your own mental health? Because a lot of the times sex can be very emotional for some people. And sometimes you actually do need some sort of intimacy in order to really enjoy the act of having sex. So there's a lot of really important topics that we wanted to get into. And of course, we wanted to shout out both the American Sexual Health Association for really pushing through awareness of the importance of celebrating World Sex Health Day, and also the World Association for Sexual Health, which is kind of the host of making sure that this is a conversation that's happening across the world and it's not just sort of focused in regionally within the US. So we're really excited to be talking about sex health and really giving sort of a tip in a hat to these organizations that are really promoting more well-informed, well thought out conversations around our own sex health.
Oh, sounds good. Thanks for kicking it off, Lena D. So before we dive in, we just wanted to define what is sexual health, give you guys the official definition that is used. So sexual health is going beyond the traditional views of simply avoiding diseases, which is very important, also avoiding unplanned pregnancy, but should also include experiencing pleasure and intimacy without risking your health or someone else's health. And then, so like we mentioned before, we did a 2-part series before this on the vulva or the vagina, and a lot of our listeners, especially our female listeners, wanted us to kind of give the fellas some tips on how to improve their sex game. And it's funny because originally it's just supposed to be 1 episode. We just kept going like, shit.
Yeah, we
gotta make this 2 episodes. Yeah. Then if you guys have noticed, it's actually our 2 longest episodes. So not only is it 2-parter, it's
like 2 long
ones. 2 long ass episodes. So that was pretty cool. And then after this, next 2 episodes after this will be 2-part series on the penis to help the ladies out, guide them in the bedroom, not too strong of a grip, stuff like that. So we figured we'll just go over like safety stuff and how to help our listeners have sex for longer and healthier.
Right. Then we also want to talk about some, less commonly talked about topics such as, intimacy, having sex just for sex, or having sex for, for, I guess, being more intimate with the person instead of just having like a one-night stand. How do those 2 experiences compare with each other? And also talk about things like, that are not, well, I guess they're talked about, but they're usually talked about within like, I would say echo chambers within girls and within guys, like, like a partner sucking in bed and things like ED, guy drinks too much, dick can't get hard, that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think the big part around that, Wesley, is around, I think what you were saying is that healthy relationships are all centered around having strong communication.
Correct.
And I think we've talked about in our previous episodes that even strong communication all starts with yourself.
Right.
So if you're not able to really understand what you like, how do you expect somebody else to understand or know what you want?
Most definitely.
In the bedroom. So I think that's all of this stuff kind of ties together. And even though we're not going to get all emotional Disney movie like with our love and bonding and intimacy, an element of intimacy is being comfortable communicating.
Correct.
And I think you have to understand your own body and your pleasure centers and what you like, what you don't like, before you can effectively communicate it to your partner.
Be introspective, guys. I always say that word 'cause I love that word. Look inside yourself, like Luke Skywalker.
Feel inside yourself. Well, that's what I do. I don't know about you guys.
Ain't no fingers going in my butt.
Little warm fuzzies.
But yeah.
Yeah, so to kick it off, one of the topics Wesley mentioned was erectile dysfunction, also known as ED or whiskey dick in the streets.
It's not always whiskey dick, but
it's not, but it feels like it's just an easy way of people to say whiskey dick. It
Yeah.
could be vodka dick, could be gin dick. But yeah, just general term is whiskey dick. And then, so it's funny. I have my own variation. I've had my own variation of whiskey dick. So whiskey dick or EDs, usually when you're about to have sex with a chick or another guy, and then you can't get it up. My version is I can get it up, but I can't nut, which is
Oh, you got the alcohol shit going on.
doesn't sound as bad, but it's fucking terrible.
Yeah, because you feel like you're going on forever.
Forever. Eventually, you're just like, all right, I'm done.
Like,
All right,
you guys
you
don't
came a
have to
couple times.
concentrate on the orgasm.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible.
so do you, that entire time, is it something that you know right away, or is it something that
Yeah.
you get
You know.
through? Oh, so you just know that you're not going to come.
You know from the get go, like, I'm not gonna come. All right, babe, this is all you. You get your 2-3, but I'm just not gonna come.
When guys always say, like, when not always, but when guys say they fake it, it's usually because of that shit. It really is. Like, it's just, oh fuck, this
This ain't happening.
Like, as soon as you put it, you're like, no.
Is that always alcohol related or drug related?
Both alcohol and no drugs.
Yeah. I've heard when you roll, like, that's when it's like,
Yeah.
it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, also age too. Like before it didn't matter. Now like,
It's like,
certain combinations, I'm just like,
nope.
I'm down for the count.
Yeah. So what happened with me is just that I've been with Lena D for a while. So when we decided to do the open thing, I was hanging out with this other chick and everything was going good. And then when it came down, like, we're drinking, dick is hard. We're like, we're walking around, kissing, dick's still hard.
Miss all the attention. Like,
Yeah, I'm ready to go. What else? We get to the apartment. Dick's still hard. I take the clothes off. She take her clothes off. Titties pop out. Everything's great. Dick is now on soft.
Soft serve ice cream.
It's on soft. And it's on soft. It's like that in between state. It's like kind of hard, but it's like, fuck. It's out of a percentage of 0 to 100, it would be like at 65-70%. That's barely passing.
So that's like when you're trying to like,
Yeah, you trying to
vagina,
like,
but it can't go in. It's not hard.
It doesn't
enough.
know what to do. It's just like, come on, work.
Like, stop bending on me. You go inside the vagina.
Is that when you slap it on the clit to make,
Yeah.
to make it like, wake up, wake up?
Wake up, just wake
Like
up.
you're home.
It's time to fucking perform, bitch. But she was just like, it's all right. Like, she was actually pretty cool with it. It happened again another time with another chick, but I because I had the experience of that time, the next time I was like, I already know what to do. So it was just like, I was like, fuck, it's not working. Dick, don't you do this to me again.
no.
Don't you do this to me. This Tinder chick got a fat ass. Don't you fucking do this to me. So those are my times. I've experienced what Brock has experienced. My dick never got soft drinking, but like if I'm so like drunk, I just like do the thing or whatever. Yeah, I ain't coming. I'm gonna fake that shit. I'm like, oh my god, I'm
I
coming.
just let her know. Like, all right, babe, I'm not gonna come. You done? All right, cool. That's it. It's a wrap.
Let's see. Yeah,
Try again in a couple of hours.
I'm back in my fat burning zone at this point. I can't be concentrating on this shit.
Yeah, at that point, it feels like a gym workout.
It feels like a gym
Fuck.
workout. Fuck. You know what? I'm going to sleep. Fuck this. So yeah.
So do you have do you know why it was a lot more difficult for you to get hard when you were about to go in for action?
Well, without going into certain details about like what we do, there's certain things that we do that they don't do that contributed to that. And I don't want to say on the podcast, I'll tell y'all later.
he's trying to keep some of our like
pillow talk. I'm trying to keep it
pillow talk.
Yeah. So
cute.
Man.
Listen, all your street cat out here. I want to add one more. I think another part that has happened to me is lack of connection. So like emotional like connection. And it's funny, that's only happened like probably within the last year or so. So before, like undergrad, after undergrad, like didn't matter. Like,
it didn't matter.
Boom.
Yeah,
you met someone, smash
all them walls,
smash and dash, and I was like, if I don't like you, not even just a little bit, like it has to be somewhat substantial. Like, not interested, just not interested. Don't want to waste my time. Don't want to waste my money. Just not interested. And my dick knows that too, and it's like, all right, I'm on strike. I got you. I got your back.
Well, I've been with a guy that happened to, and it was a hookup thing. And it was so weird because we're making out, we're kissing, we're touching each other. He's hard. But then when it came to putting on the condom is when he just went soft. And then I was like, okay, like what happened? Like what's going on? And he's just like, oh no, I'm just really stressed.
No bullshit. He's used to like getting into them guts without a condom.
I don't know, but he said he was stressed.
Yeah, stress my ass.
And so even if that was the case, I was like, all right, well, that's fine. And I was understanding of it. And we actually did have a very like deep conversation after that, which I wasn't expecting. Like I thought it was just going to be like, oh, well, all right, you didn't get hard. You can like leave the room now.
It's on soft.
You may exit.
It's on soft, but we should have deep conversations about why it happens.
And take your goodie bag on the way out.
It's like you couldn't go deep inside me with your dick, but you're going to go deep inside me with the story of your life.
With thought. Inspirational thought.
And I don't know, but I actually do think that in that situation, it was stress related because I found that whenever there were stressful situations, but I think it's also because some people just get so overwhelmed with stress, whether it's work, whether it's that they're not happy with where their life is, or whether they're thinking about other things. Like for some guys, I actually do think that impacts their performance in bed. And that was my experience, at least, because there were times where it was like, oh yeah, this is great. Like in the morning, it was always good.
Morning sex is the best.
In the morning, it always worked, but at night, it never worked.
Well, that's also by nature too, because the morning would. So you don't have to do nothing. Just wake up like just poking her, like, hey babe, hey babe, you up?
And it was, I don't know. It was just my experience. It was like I was understanding of it, and he actually did point out that I was typically more understanding than a lot of the women he'd been with.
That would be my next question. Was this the first time?
No, it's happened to him a lot.
Oh man,
with you guys specifically, or
with other women?
Oh Jesus,
yeah. So like that's more of it's not a whiskey dick thing. It's more, I think, how you channel your energy and how you treat other stuff in your life, which it goes back to that whole intimacy, communication. Like if you don't have an outlet to let that shit out, I think sometimes it does block up people's like sexual potential.
if it happens like that all the time, I think he needs to talk to somebody. This is me. From my standpoint.
That's a little too often.
If it's a little too often, he might need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
So,
but it's like, I think most women think that erectile dysfunction is either like, oh, like he doesn't like me. He doesn't find me attractive.
Nah, there's nothing more better that I want to do. Mushroom stamp the hell out of you. But I mean, like,
anoint you.
Yeah. But it's not working.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of why we're talking about it, is like, what are the other reasons? It's not always around being attractive. There's other things that get in the way. And I think oftentimes women don't always understand, one, because dudes aren't the most forthcoming to sit down and have a conversation about shit.
Nope. We use minimal amount of words.
All right, but what about like, if a woman, can't get wet, right?
That happens.
Like, what about that?
Sahara. Oh no.
Yeah, it's like a desert. Like any and all foreplay that you do, still all desert action. You just like, man.
The ego would take a huge hit. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm out.
I don't know about the ego thing. I just go to Dwayne Reed, get this Astro Lube, come back up,
Yeah, which is
Astro Glide.
Glide.
Right?
Don't say the glide.
I didn't want to name drop, but now we got to. So,
oh man, now we got to go back and charge them later.
The pharmacies are open 24/7
we're gonna be name
in New York.
dropping these episodes. So yeah.
But I think that to your point, I think it does happen for women as well, where, and sometimes they don't know why, and even though she might be sexually aroused,
That's like the equivalent of ED, if you really think.
right?
about
It is.
Yeah.
It's in a way it is, but I think with women, it's a much easier solution. Like you said, you just go and buy the lube.
Yeah.
Or you just take it out of the drawer, like I'm going to use lube for my sex toys. I have lube lying around my place.
Hey.
If I'm hooking up with a guy and I'm not getting wet, it's okay. There's an instant solution for it.
Right.
Whereas like with erectile dysfunction, there isn't. Sometimes you have to like coach them and shit, like make them feel loved and
Get
whatnot.
one of them Chinese supplements from the
Yeah.
bodega.
The
Be like-
goat weed.
Be like, have you heard of
The
horny
horny
goat
goat
weed
weed.
before? Like, should I go pick some up? Because I will.
I got some illegal Cialis for your ass.
Yeah, don't be using no house products
No, please
substitute
don't.
for
No,
lube.
no.
Oh, no.
Butter or Crisco. No, motherfucker. Just go buy the fucking lube. The lube is not that expensive.
That causes infections and all kinds of infections for guys and ladies.
Yeah.
So
For everybody. It's just not, I don't want.
it's not.
See, I
worth
don't
it.
even know. Like, what happens if like oil gets up your butt?
The fuck.
You and the butt comment again. Why is oil in on your butt?
Because if you're out of lube, you're saying don't use Crisco. And if
What the fuck? Why would you use Crisco?
Canola oil.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm just saying, like, lube has multi-purpose uses. It's a multi-purpose lubricant.
Motherfucker, we're talking about cooking oil right now. That is, there's only there's frying.
Cooking in the bedroom. Cooking in the bedroom.
But so, assuming that people are not using household goods or cooking goods,
Please don't.
how do you feel about if a woman says, "Hey, I want to use lube"? Is that something that's taboo for you? or-
Nah.
No,
If
it's
she
not taboo.
does, put it in stuff. Like, it's all good.
Preference is for her to naturally get
Exactly,
wet, but
but
in the
she
off chance she's
can't.
not, throw some
I mean,
lube
she
on there.
still wants you. She still want that fucking dick. So
So it's not like an ego hit.
No.
A little bit, but not enough to not use it.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. So
I mean,
just-
you in the moment, like, man, I'm not gonna say no.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna play Injustice now. You're not getting wet. Like,
Yeah.
no, like it doesn't work that way.
blue balls as an alternative is
Yeah.
not a fucking alternative.
Like, you blue balled yourself at that point. Like, at least she's like, I'm gonna get my Astro Glide.
Just in that voice. So I guess I think that's good for men to know that if she's asking for the lube, you shouldn't be taking it as an ego hit. What should women, or what advice do you have for women that face being with a dude that has erectile dysfunction, whether it's whiskey dick, whether it's emotional, whatever?
Oh, man.
Like, what should they be doing in the bedroom so that it's not
Man,
killing the mood or
Just
killing the
suck
vibe?
the hell out of it
Yeah,
until it
yeah.
gets hard.
Do put them lips on there.
It will
It
instantly,
will percolate.
like, just like that.
What
If
if
you get it to 70%, I can finish the rest of the way. I can get it to the 100% that you need.
Okay.
But there's a lot of women that's like, oh, like, it's not working, and then that's it. Like, it's just, we're done.
Or the
Yeah.
anti blowjob crew. Yeah,
Yeah.
those don't stick around long. I don't do that. Well, I don't eat vagina then.
I mean, I said that too, so I agree. You got to be willing to give to get. Like,
Should
that
be
is just
simple.
one of those things.
I would say another thing is be a little understanding. At least from my stories with the two chicks, they were like, it's all right. They started kissing me and stuff like that. So it did happen, but it just took a little bit of time. That's all.
Okay.
Like, it's just patient. You just gotta be patient. Like, right now, like, if it doesn't get hard instantly, don't do that. Don't do that whole. I'm about to say something real crazy. Like, you don't want to get hard. Oh my God, I'm out of here. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, if you make it theatrical, it's not gonna.
Yeah, it's not gonna help.
It's just gonna stress you out more.
Stress me out even more. I'm gonna chill. Yeah. I mean, we have one story about that. I didn't even tell that story, but we not. I'm not gonna get into it.
It's a topic for another day.
Yeah, that is definitely a topic for another day. Obviously, for sexual health, it's all about getting tested, what your status is, and being aware of what said status is, whether, I wouldn't say you're clean or not, because that's a relative term, whether you have like an STI or if you don't. It's always good to get checkups within yourself at least once a year, at least. My rule of thumb has always been, because I'm just such a germaphobe. So it's every time that I have sex with a new partner, I go to Dwayne Reed. I'm name dropping again, and go get the OraQuick test to make sure I ain't got nothing. It's just like one of those peace of mind things that you just you sit there. It literally takes I think 10 or 15 minutes, 10 or 20 minutes. No, it's 10 minutes. Sorry, it's 10 minutes. So basically, you spit in the thing, you shake it up, you put the dipstick in, the control comes up, and if the other bar comes up, then you might really need to go get tested. If you don't, if it doesn't come up, then you good to go. I don't do the whole gonorrhea, syphilis type deal. I should, but I try to do that in a physical once a year, make sure I ain't got anything. And then there's some symptoms that you just kind of generally know, like if your pee is burning clearly.
Yeah, if there's pain or fucking physical
you got problems,
manifestations.
Yeah, if there's a weird physical manifestation of whatever is going on, obviously go get checked out.
That means stuff that just is not normal.
Yeah.
If your penis or vagina looks different today from yesterday,
get tested. Yeah.
Too much discharge, cottage cheese, all that stuff.
Sweet and sour sauce. Remember that. If you got sweet and sour sauce leaking out your shit, go get tested. Clearly, you got something wrong with your dick. Just do all
the oozing. Oozing out of anything is not
any
good.
Food items that I could say for you to go get tested. Remember that and go get tested. I don't want to name all the sauces out there.
No, don't. You've already ruined sweet and sour sauce for so many of our listeners.
Gotta go with barbecue sauce. Yeah. Sweet and sour's tainted now. Yeah. McDonald's like, what you want? Barbecue.
If you got tartar sauce, you not your shit.
Oh no!
Oh no! I like tartar sauce.
Rest
Come
in peace,
on!
Tartar sauce.
No.
Must be eating some dry ass fish now.
Anything that I could accentuate to get this point across to go get tested if something's happening, do that. And the reason why I use the food analogy a lot, and I know this is going to sound weird, I'm deviating a little bit, is because there's a show called The Chappelle Show a while back. And then he had this thing about abstinence. And then the way that he would drive it home that you should not be having sex underage is that he took two old people and he put mayonnaise on them. And as they were gliding on each other, just to accentuate the sounds of sex, so that way they would not do it. So that's a slight deviation. Yeah, you remember that? Oh,
show.
The thing is, though, it's the whole getting tested conversation. It shouldn't feel weird to talk about it with your partner.
No, definitely not.
And I think it's easy to have that conversation with somebody that you're in a committed relationship with, but it's not as easy when you're hooking up with somebody, when it's somebody that's on the side, when they're also hooking up with other people. But it's important. So what I like to do is that I always get tested right after I have sex with somebody new.
Oh man, you just like me.
And
germaphobe as hell.
And then what I do is that if I end up having another sexual encounter with that same person, I'll bring my results and stuff and be like, hey, look, I just got tested. I'll send a little screenshot or something. Look, I don't got
show
shit.
me yours, motherfucker.
I was exactly. I was show me your whole facts.
Show me the whole facts.
No, I want the original, man. That's just Photoshop.
I want you to bring it with me. I want us to have this conversation. And I actually did type that out to one of the people I was hooking up with. And I said, hey, if we're going to keep doing this, like next time I see you, I just got tested. I'm not having sex with anybody else, like blah, blah, blah. And it was a request that I made. And he's like, oh, well, I actually haven't gotten tested in a while. Which I was just like, well, you need to go get tested now. Thanks. And I mean, I already knew that I was clean after the fact, but that's why I think you always need to be on top of your shit.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just assume, oh, he had a condom on, that you aren't going to get something.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. And I started doing that because I actually had a very bad experience with getting an STI back in college. And it was during my whole phase, which is, whatever. I could say that my whole phase has lasted a little bit longer than it has too. But I ended up hooking up with somebody and I was very insistent on the condom. And that should have been a red flag for me when he was like, oh, are you sure? Can't we just do it raw? And I literally had just met the dude that same day. So it was like a one night. Well, it wasn't a one night stand because I hooked up with him afterwards, but it was intended to just be a one night stand. And I was like, nah, man, you got to get your condom. Like, it is. So he was like, finally, begrudgingly went to go get it, put it on, and then we started having sex. But I was drunk. So I was smart enough and I was conscious enough to like ask him to put it on and insistent enough for him to put it on. But then in the middle of us having sex, he took it off.
Oh, he stealthed you.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
So he took it off. I didn't notice the difference anymore because at that point, I was just like, this feels good. Like, I'm getting wetter. Like, I'm about to come, blah, blah, blah. But he took it off. And for the next month, I was fine. But then I just, out of nowhere, like, it just started feeling itchy. My discharge was different.
Oh, no.
And I was like, this is not my vagina cleaning itself anymore.
Oh, no.
Oh, Jesus.
And at that point, I was like, shit, it's been like a month and a half since I last had sex. And I remembered it. And I was like, oh, shit, it was that dude. So I went and got tested, came back positive.
Oh, no.
At chlamydia. And it was awful. Like I felt so embarrassed at that point because at that point I had been with other people too. Like I was like, well, we wore a condom, but I don't know. And I'm like having to make these and I actually made the calls, even though I had hooked up with guys that were just in that case, like one or two occasions that we had had sex ever since. And it's just not cool. Like either he never got tested, but the fact that he was insistent on taking the condom off and not respecting my desire for him to have a condom, which is like a huge no-no to begin with. But it's then having to then kind of like, I felt like I had to pull my pieces together and then just be like an adult about it and say, hey, I need to call these other two guys that I've been with. And I actually even called him back. And I said, look, dude, you need to go fucking get yourself tested because you fucking gave me the clap. And he's like, oh, no, like, I don't think I was like, look, motherfucker, I already got treated. So you're probably fucking around with other people and whatever you want to do is on you. But I'm telling you that you need to go get tested. Bye. And that because of that, I've never been so shy about having that conversation because I don't want to have that happen with something that's worse with like HIV or AIDS. Or herpes or some other bullshit that you can't get rid of and you can't cure. So it's really important to just do that. And I think when you're young, like that happened to me in college and stuff, you're not always thinking about it. But if you're going to be sexually active, you should always be thinking about it.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, like Wesley said, yeah. Always do it with my annual physical. I mean, if you have health insurance through your job, like it's part of the physical. Height, weight, blood work, pee, get the whole shebang.
Right. And guys shouldn't be like, I'm sorry to cut you off. Guys shouldn't be scared because there was a time where like they would have to stick a catheter inside your man stick. So
inside the urethra?
Yeah. Yeah. That is not.
That sounds painful.
It's painful as fuck and it's not fun. I've been through that a couple times. That is not fucking fun at all. But now you just have to pee in the cup, which is awesome. Good. And you good. They can detect all that through the pee, which is I'm so happy for that because catheter in the urethra, not fun.
Now just piss in a cup, little prick in your finger.
Yep.
If you don't have health insurance through your employer, clinics do it for free. You just go pretty much the same day. You check in. So this is like undergrad. So every time I would come back home from school, because I went to school out of state, me and my brother were like, all right, let's go. It's the most, like, even if you use a condom, every sexual condom between tests, like, it's still the most nerve-wracking shit.
Yes,
it's like waiting. It's like the DMV, just waiting, like, oh shit, my number. And it's like you put your name down, but it's kind of like, it's weird. Like, they have your name, but they somehow record in the system as a number. So you're technically not in the system. But yeah, definitely get tested. Besides the moral implications of knowing your status, it differs by state, but there's also legal ramifications
Yes,
if you knowingly or even unknowingly give someone an STI. Like you can be criminally or civilly found
Shit, I
liable.
could have sued this.
Yeah, you could sue that
guy.
motherfucker.
Like, check what Usher's going through right now.
Damn.
Like, so
Yeah, so
that should let you know enough.
yeah, so if you're not doing it just to be a good person or for your own health, like, don't catch the L and go to jail and or
Yeah.
get like
Statutes of limitations have
fine.
passed on this one for me.
Basically,
Probably.
yeah. This is the one line statement. Don't be the outbreak monkey.
Yeah.
That's it.
Ew.
But there's this article I did read. Just to sidetrack. It was a woman. She was working at this. I don't know if it was a department store or whatever. She was flirting with her manager or whatever. The manager ended up hooking up. So it's like your story, but in reverse. He ended up sticking it in raw, like just a quick second. Like he went in raw, and then she was like, "No." She pushed him off. She's like, "No, let's use a condom." Couple weeks later go by, she started noticing discharges. Like it was like a greenish discharge.
He did or she did?
She did.
Okay.
She ended up going to get tested, and she ended up having chlamydia and gonorrhea.
Oh god damn.
Yeah, so she got a double dose.
Oh, shit.
And this was he like put it in like just once.
Just
got
the
Not the
tip.
tip, not like I mean the whole thing obviously. And then she like pushed him off like, "Whoa, what are you doing? Chill out. Like wear a condom."
But what is it with these dudes like just wanting to go fucking raw dog all the fucking time?
You really want that answer to that question?
Well, yeah, because we don't have to go like deep into it. But I understand that if you've been with somebody for a long time, that you would be comfortable doing it raw. But I know so many dudes that just straight up ask a girl on the first night, "Can we do it raw?" In my experience, but the first time, don't you care about your fucking dick?
Risk reward.
Yo, he said risk reward. I'm done. Yo,
I'm not saying it's the smartest decision.
Sex is not the safest, but it feels the best.
It feels the best. But yeah, it's the dumbest.
Charlemagne the God.
It's the dumbest decision, but feels the best. Yeah. And then once dick hard, new brain. Like
Yeah.
you transfer the controller. Like, all right,
But it's not just like men that do it. Ladies do it too, and it makes men like I've had it happen when she's like, "No, baby, I just want you to put it inside me without
that
one."
scares the shit out
and
of
it's
me.
like,
I'm a pass. Oh,
I like cringe a little bit. I'm like, should I do this? Nah, chill.
or
Condoms,
she has her own
status.
condom. Like,
no, like that's another thing
I'm
too.
Bring my own or go buy one.
No,
I don't know where your condom
I
came from.
always bring my own condoms because I know like what's in it. It hasn't been tampered with. I never use.
You watch a lot of Maury growing up when you poke the hole in the condoms.
Yeah. I never do that.
And the turkey basin. So bring your own condom.
Bring your
Make
own
sure you
Flush
flush
it
that
down.
shit.
Yeah.
Or take it with you. I had one boy. He would take the condom with him. He's like, nope, I'm not trusting
Did he
these
have
hoes.
a Ziploc bag with him, or he
I
just
don't know.
stuffed that shit in his
I think he
pocket?
put it in a napkin, took it with him, put it back like in the condom wrapper. Like, nope, it's
the
way
prevention.
too much.
I
Just trying to
mean-
trap dudes.
I mean, I use a certain kind of condom because like I still want that feeling.
Or like one of the ribbed ones.
No, not even. Like I've got a name drop again. So I use bearskin because I like the feeling and
Nervous about
and see,
bearskin.
and here's the thing. Here's the thing with bearskin condoms. Bearskin condoms are amazing, but you can't go ham sandwich with bearskin condoms because if
They
you
break.
go ham, Them shits is so thin. It feels like it will break. I'm pretty sure
and you won't know it broke because it feels damn near the same.
Yeah.
Like,
I was like,
damn it, how long has it been like this? Fuck.
So I usually go at like medium speed with those. It's just like, just a regular.
Yeah, you can't do nothing crazy.
No, I can't do nothing crazy with those because I'm scared that it'll break.
Yeah, I mean, that's just crazy. The whole, I don't know. I mean, I understand that it feels good. As a woman, I will attest, and I will basically say that yes, having raw sex feels like the best sex. But when a dude's
Not
just
with
like
a strange person,
but like with some strange ass dude that I just met, it's like, nah, homie, chill. But it's interesting that when the woman suggests it, you're just, that's a turn off. But then you won't be turned off by the fact that you're suggesting.
But I don't suggest it. I've never suggested it. Like if you did the show me the whole facts thing and I showed you the whole facts, I'm like, you take birth control? I might risk this one. But
that's another thing. Yeah, unwanted pregnancy.
But at the same token, however, like knowing me and my scared ass, I probably would still use a condom because you don't know. Like those tests are like within that time frame until at that point. So you don't know what happens between like the results that you got last week and what happens like, the following 4 or 5 days later.
Well, I mean, assuming that you would only be sure if that person isn't with anybody else. But
exactly.
you'd have to take their word for it.
Right, exactly. And I don't know, man. I'm cool on all that.
It's just risky, so don't do it. And dudes, it's not cool to be taking the fucking condom off in the middle of sex.
Yeah, stealthing ain't cool. That's like tantamount to like I feel like it's almost tantamount to rape. Hear me out why I say that. Because like when you have sex with somebody, you're agreeing to what happens within that interaction. Once you change the parameters of that interaction, somebody takes off the condom or whatever, you didn't agree to that.
No.
So that's why I'm saying it's almost like that, but I don't know. Maybe that's just my weird brain, my weird way of thinking. So
no, I agree. It's not. If I would have been fine with having raw sex, I would have said yes the first time you asked me.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm not, then that's something that needs to be respected.
Right.
Because at that point, it's like, well, it's not just STIs, but it's also unwanted pregnancies. Like this dude didn't even ask me if I was on birth control. Like none of that shit. It's like, you just have to be more caring about your own life.
Right, because that has like long-term ramifications too. Like what if he got you pregnant? Like that's some shit right there. Like, I don't know. I'd be pretty pissed off about.
Yeah. And the thing is like, the obvious form of protection is condoms.
Right.
But women also have condoms.
Yes.
Women take the pill, or they can be on the patch, or they have the.
But that's protecting against like little babies.
Right, but it's still protection is both disease and unwanted pregnancy.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I think you need to have, when you're practicing safe sex,
right,
you need to be doing both.
Is it weird that I've never seen a female condom on a female before?
I've never seen a female condom either.
They're annoying to put in. Like it's like a fucking bag.
Oh, so you've
I've played with one and then I threw it out. I was like, I'm not doing this shit.
I've never seen
Yo, you stupid.
Are they in the pharmacies? Like I've never seen
them.
Pharmacies.
I've seen the little patch, the square thing you put inside your vagina, like the spermicide. That like if you end up going raw with some chick or whatever, and she doesn't use birth control, she puts that little square thing inside her vagina or whatever. But I've been with a chick who, like, when we've done that, it makes my urethra hurt. Like when you pee, it's like, it burns. But that's that spermicide kicking in because you just busted nuts. So it's just like it eats up the sperm. Yeah. So,
but I mean, I think I got one from like the health center at my school. And then I was curious to see, because at that point it was one of those stupid things where it was like, well, if he's using a condom and I'm using a condom, is it just safer?
I think latex on latex.
No, I know it's not, but I was saying that it was
just like the dumbass guys are like, I'm gonna put 2 condoms on. Yeah, just fucking defeated the purpose, you big dummy.
But that's the only reason why I played with it, because I was wondering if it was any different. But then you look at the stats, and it's actually a male condom is much more effective in terms of making sure that sperm doesn't get in than a woman condom is. So I was like, fuck this shit. Like, I'm good.
Or abstinence, but Yeah.
You stupid.
We don't got no advice for that.
Wait, what is that?
Abstinence.
Abstinence.
No, but what is what?
Oh, abstinence is refraining from having sex.
No, I know. I just that term doesn't exist in my world.
But it's also a good point. Some people might not know what that is. So just in case, you don't got to go to the dictionary. We got you.
All right. Hopefully you guys learned a lot about protection, intimacy, and of course, sexual health. We could probably go way deeper into what we just went over, but it's like a good high level overview about, sex, intimacy, sexual health, the organizations, of course. So yeah.
And especially because I think this is really relevant to our community. Sometimes at home, like parents don't talk about,
especially in black and brown homes, like what is that?
Birds and bees. I never had that shit.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like the assumption is that you're going to stay abstinent, but in my case, where it doesn't exist in my vocabulary, like I need to find other ways to stay safe. So
esta cochina.
But I think I hope that people find it at least a good introduction into safe sex and practicing it, because I think that more Black and Latino brown homes need to have this conversation with, adults and people that they trust. And sometimes that doesn't happen. So hopefully we're helping people out there with this episode.
Yeah, we'll definitely try to do a deep dive into like birth control and abortion in that area. That would be a pretty interesting conversation.
And thanks for joining us today at No Free Drinks. Don't forget that our episodes release every single Wednesday, of course, hump day. But the easiest way to stay in touch with us is to just subscribe to our podcast. And you can find us by searching No Free Drinks on your favorite podcast app. But for my Apple users, show us some love, especially if you love what you're hearing. Rate us and leave us a review. And specifically, if you're a big social media user, don't forget to follow us on Instagram. You can find us at _NoFreeDrinks. And in our bio, we have a link where you can easily connect to wherever we're playing our podcast, as well as our other social media platforms. And we hope that you loved today. Thanks for coming. I hope it was good for you too. This is Lena D. Kisses.
This is Wesley. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Hey guys, this is Brock. Make love, not babies.